Good afternoon, dear friends. First and foremost, I would like to compliment the Economic Times for putting the spotlight on a social issue that needs to be always at the forefront of society's conversations. I would also like to applaud all the speakers today. It is commendable how they have given such great perspectives on issues that we're discussing. Diversity and inclusivity, or D&I, are not just buzzwords anymore. They are the core belief of a movement that is literally changing the world. The concept of equality for all has become the driving force for all human interactions. A diverse workplace is where equal work opportunities are provided to people irrespective of their gender, race, color of skin, religion, sexual orientation, age, socio-economic status, or cultural beliefs. And inclusivity is where differences between people are valued and organizational or systemic barriers to their participations and progress are eliminated. What matters most is that humankind has now embarked upon a journey to make this a reality. Recently I heard about a pan-European movement called #EmbraceDifference. CEOs of 55 leading European companies in the industrial and technological sectors have signed a pledge and made a commitment to create the right environment and conditions for all employees to reach their full potential. Embrace Difference is a call to action for an inclusive culture, inclusive leadership, goal setting, clear responsibility of managers to achieve diversity goals and ambitions, equal opportunities, and societal engagement and responsibility. Major conglomerates like Adidas, Siemens, the BMW Group, Philips, and few others are just some of the 55 companies that have signed this pledge. Let's just put this into perspective. It's not that racism, sexism, or discrimination happens only in our part of the world. It exists everywhere. For example, in the late 1990s, BMW installed a GPS navigation system and used a female voice for it. And what do you think happened? BMW had to recall the GPS system because German men refused to take directions from a female voice. That's sexism for you in one of the most evolved societies in the world. But that was more than 20 years ago. What matters is that today, the same BMW has signed the Embrace Difference pledge. In these challenging times of the pandemic, unfortunately, the marginalized workforce have been at the receiving end. Women or older people have lost their jobs more easily. Those who aren't tech savvy have also found themselves uncertain, which is why a comprehensive D&I workplace culture and policies that ensure fair and equal opportunities have become even more urgent and imperative. The question, however, remains, how does one actually achieve true diversity and inclusivity at the workplace? Jesse Jackson once said, "Diversity is not a matter of political correctness. It is the key to growth." Diversity and inclusion in the workplace cannot just be token gestures. One cannot have a diverse workforce and not include the diversity in all workings of the organization. For there to be true D&I, a few crucial questions need to be asked. What is the company's recruitment policy? How diverse is the leadership cadre? Are there enough women and different people in leadership positions? On what basis are responsibilities handed out and promotions decided upon? And the most important question, how valued does every employee feel? Employees can feel valued only when their ideas and efforts are taken seriously and respected by the organization. Otherwise, the company's D&I culture is only an eyewash. So let's take women, for example, as they still have to deal with a strong gender bias. India has been a patriarchal society in the past where the role of women was relegated largely to domestic duties. And although the status quo is changing rapidly, there is still a long way to go. Even today in the workplace, women have to continuously fight male egos, sexism, and misogyny to prove their caliber and competence. They have to fight the injustice of unequal pay. They have to fight the notion that women cannot achieve what men can, whereas nothing can be farther from the truth. The power dynamics of the male ego versus the female ambition are now at a juncture where the proverbial wall of chauvinism will have no option but to crumble. Only in 2018 was homosexuality decriminalized in India. Till then, employees who were gay had to remain closeted for the fear of the law. Even today, homosexuals have to hide their orientation in our society. Why? Their orientation has absolutely no bearing on their competence or the work they do. The very notion of D&I insists that there cannot be discrimination against them. They must be given equal respect and opportunities. Similarly, a genuine talent pipeline with a long-term strategy can be built only if there is openness in recruitment. When diverse talent is employed, coupled with the open culture and inclusivity, it has the power to pave the way for innovations and progress in the years to come. In the face of the pandemic, companies have had to relook their employee welfare programs and organizational structures. This, in my opinion, is a great opportunity for companies to become more D&I compliant. And inclusivity is not just about giving equal opportunities to women or the LGBTQA community or different people. It goes way beyond it. For example, so many workplaces in our country don't even have facilities that fully take into consideration a woman's mental and physical challenges, be it motherhood, be it hormonal changes, menopause, postpartum depression. Something as simple as having a ramp at the key areas of an office building will make life so much easier for all employees who are wheelchair bound or for mothers who bring their toddlers to work in strollers. The movie Intern, if you remember, was a great example of how we tend to have unconscious biases towards the abilities of someone only because they're different from how we are. In this case, in the case of the movie, it was an older person. There genuinely is a tendency in people to believe that the older generation, the older people are not that tech savvy or don't understand the modern business landscape. Of course, older people can learn to use technology quite easily, and then there is the wealth of experience and decades of market knowledge that they have garnered over the course of their professional lives. So wouldn't that be useful to a company? And who says that people with disabilities are not capable of great things? I recently came across the story of Dr. Ravi Thodla, who was born with iris coloboma, a defect in the iris of the eye. He had just 15% vision from birth. His father was skeptical of sending him to school, afraid he would be bullied and humiliated. But then his uncle enrolled him in school, and then Dr. Thodla went on to procure a PhD in finance, has taught in many business schools, has over 40 years of teaching, and his own YouTube channel now. So add to that, he has a happy and enriched family life. So did his disability come in the way of him leading a fulfilling life? No, it didn't. I mean, he's clearly contributed hugely to society. In this modern age, companies cannot just be business houses. Besides aiming for sustainability and financial success, they must realize that they have a social responsibility as well. The work culture they adopt will actively promote employee well-being, true diversity, and the right inclusion. This needs to go beyond advocacy and translate into tangible action. The reservations and judgmental outlook from the dark ages that still plague us need to go. The products a company make are meant to be sold to the entire human diversity. Then how can there not be diversity in the people who make the products for the company? It is the job of employers to create psychologically safe environments, non-judgmental, gender neutral and unbiased, for the employees to feel safe, wanted and appreciated. Personal beliefs, interests, religious sentiments, orientations or political views cannot take away from the merit of any individual's work. It is heartening to see that so many business houses have realized the potential of D&I. The Volvo Group has an ambitious target of 35% women leaders by 2030. The differently abled make for 4% of the Tata Group of Industries employees. Lemon Tree Hotels started hiring people with Down syndrome and hearing and speech impaired people in 2007. ITC Hotel employs people with disabilities in team leader and managerial positions. Wipro not only employs disabled people at all levels of the organizations, but they also provide assistive technology, transport facility, and physical infrastructure to them. Cafe Coffee Day outlets have speech impaired people brewing coffee. The company calls them silent brew masters. Even at the Aditya Birla Education Trust and all the verticals, we have a strict gender and religious diversity policy. All hiring and retention of employees is purely based only on caliber. No position or role is refused on the basis of the gender or religion of the applicant. Training is provided to all employees uniformly to maintain equality in the workplace. Similarly, all compensations and promotions are based solely on experience and skills, never on the basis of a gender or religion or any other factor. The benefits of D&I in any workplace are many and varied. When diverse people are included and valued, they're bound to work with more enthusiasm and passion. Productivity and profits are bound to go up. There is enough evidence to establish a clear correlation between a D&I culture and a company's fortunes. So many global brands are now rebranding themselves as D&I brands because they realize that when they celebrate diversity internally and externally, customers will want to buy their brand, and employees who are brand ambassadors will want to work for them. True diversity and inclusivity ensures that the most democratic company culture is possible. And this will attract the best and the most diverse talent to your company and retain it. The world is growing smaller. We are all global citizens. As workplaces grow more diverse, we need to tap into the collective intelligence of the workforce to make real progress. But tapping into the collective intelligence is only possible when we include everyone and treat everyone as equals. But tapping into the collective intelligence is only possible when we include everyone and treat them as equals. And then, of course, there is the mental health aspect of diversity and inclusivity. Besides the pressures of one's job, deadlines and targets, discrimination, being left out, being bullied, or being passed over because one is a woman or different or older has its own impact on the mental health of the person. People with mental health concerns are often discriminated upon. Employees are afraid to then talk about their mental illnesses to their employers or their managers because they fear that their decision-making abilities will be questioned, their appraisals will get affected, they fear getting fired, and because of all these reasons, they just sweep their mental health issues under the carpet and suffer in silence. A study conducted in Bangalore revealed that only 24.6% of employees said that their organizations were extremely supportive of their mental health issues, while 43.6% answers range from not supportive at all to indifferent or can't say. Robust and positive D&I policies can help create a mind-positive working environment and foster mental well-being. Every company must endeavor to be a great place to work for its employees. Having open conversations about diversity and inclusivity with leaders showing the way is the way forward. Workshops and seminars on the relevance and implementation of diversity and inclusivity and sensitivity training sessions can make a world of a difference. Organizations must encourage and support those who have been shunned due to lack of inclusivity. They must also put into effect active interventions such as employee assistance programs and a grievance committee to ensure that the system is equally fair to everyone. Teamwork and bonding programs, emotional intelligence programs also help create an environment of understanding and compassion. In conclusion, there has to be diversity and inclusivity in all fields and at all levels of every organizational structure. Diversity and inclusivity have to become integral to the core values and culture of a company for it to have real meaning and an impact. A company must involve, trust, advance, empower, and celebrate its diversity to be truly inclusive. Most importantly, each one of us has a role to play in promoting diversity and inclusivity in our own workplaces and in our own little ecosystems. Let's do our bit for this movement. I'm doing mine. Are you? Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Innovation, diversity, and inclusion for good business. Like you mentioned today, more and more corporates are embracing the D&I culture. And today we've had several takeaways from industry leaders on innovation and inclusivity at work, increasing the diversity pipeline, developing an effective D&I strategy, and how it can really take revenues on an all new high. So we truly believe that all you delegates had a lot to take in right there. I'd like to thank all of you for being a part of the Economic Times Diversity and Inclusion Summit. Let me once again thank our partners for their trust in us, our strategic partner, KPMG Global Services, our diversity partner, Wellspun India Home Textile, our industry partner, Henkel. Let me also thank our associate partners, Nomura Capital India, GSW Steel, Kone Elevators India, and of course, the summit has been brought to you by ET Edge Unwired. On behalf of the entire team of ET Edge, this is Isha Bhalla, thanking you for joining us and staying tuned. Do remember to share your thoughts on your social media using our hashtag ETDNI. Thank you for staying tuned.